When you hear the word calcium, what comes to mind first? For most people, the first answer is bones. That answer is correct, but it is incomplete. Calcium is not only related to bones, it is also involved in the way your body works every day. It supports movement, nerve communication, heart rhythm, and many small processes that feel so normal that we rarely stop and think about them. So, if you have always linked calcium only with bones, you are not alone. That is how most people learn it. But today, I want to show you a wider and more realistic picture. Today, we are going to learn 3 points. First, calcium is not only about bones. Second, some of the body functions you rely on every day involve calcium, even if you never think about it. Third, when you understand calcium better, you understand more about how your body actually works. Once you see that picture, I think you will remember calcium in a very different way. Think about your body for a moment. Getting out of bed, standing up from a chair, walking upstairs, using your hands, staying focused, feeling steady, feeling normal. These actions seem simple because we do them every day, but they still depend on coordination inside the body. They require control, timing, and communication between cells and tissues. Calcium is one part of that system. It is not the whole story, but it is an important one. That is exactly why I wanted to make this video. Calcium is usually presented in a very narrow way. People hear one message again and again, and after some time, they stop asking deeper questions. Let me say it clearly. This is the first point. Calcium is not only about bones, it also helps support everyday body function. Calcium is not only something the body stores, it is also something the body actively uses. That difference matters. When people think only about storage, they think about structure. They think about what the body is made of. But when doctors think about calcium, we also think about function. We think about what the body is doing from moment to moment. That is where the topic becomes much more real, because you are not living inside a textbook image of a skeleton. You are living inside a body that moves, reacts, rests, and stays organized every single day. And calcium contributes to that living process. At this point, you may be asking, what does that really mean in practical terms? It means calcium contributes to muscle activity, supports nerve signaling, helps the heart maintain its rhythm, and enables cells to respond when the body needs action. So, calcium is not a minor detail, it is part of normal physiology. Yes, bones matter. Of course they do, but calcium does more than support the skeleton. Its broader role deserves attention. Now, let me bring this closer to daily life. This is the second point. Some of the body functions you rely on every day involve calcium, even if you never think about it. Have you ever had a time when you did not feel truly unwell, but you also did not feel fully right? You may have felt less steady, less clear, or simply not at your best. Maybe your body felt slower in the morning. Maybe your energy was lower than expected. Maybe your sleep felt lighter. Maybe your focus was slightly off. Calcium does not explain every one of those experiences, but the body works through signals, and calcium is one of the elements involved in those signals. That is why reducing calcium to a bone only topic gives people an incomplete understanding of how the body actually functions. And people deserve better than that. As a doctor, I like topics like this because they change the way people understand themselves. Before hearing this, someone may think calcium is just about bones. After hearing this, I want that person to think calcium is also part of how my body moves, communicates, and responds. That is a much better level of understanding. It is still simple, but it is closer to real physiology. And simple does not mean shallow. Simple can still be accurate. That is what I want. Not noise, not fear, just one clear idea that helps people see the body in a better way. Now, let us go one step deeper. Inside the body, cells are constantly responding to what is happening around them. They do not remain passive. They receive information, adjust their activity, and work within a precise internal system. That is one of the reasons a living body can stay organized. Calcium is part of that internal language. It is not the only signal, but it is one of the important ones. This is also why I don't like calcium being thought as a dry or outdated topic. When that happens, people assume it belongs to one small corner of medicine and has little connection to everyday life. But in reality, calcium is active. It is involved in the body's ongoing work. And once people hear that, the topic becomes much more interesting. It is no longer about a distant health issue that may or may not occur years later. Today, it is about your body, your movement, and your function. That is a much stronger reason to care. Maybe the best way to say it is this: calcium is involved not only in body structure, but also in body function. It contributes to flow, timing, and response. That is why it matters. That is why it is worth learning about. And that is why I believe this topic belongs beyond narrow medical discussions. When people understand that the body works through signals, even at a basic level, they begin to think about health in a more realistic and connected way. Of course, calcium is not the only factor that affects how the body feels. Hormones matter, stress matters, sleep matters, age matters, illness matters. Many different factors play a role. But even with all of that, one point remains true. Calcium deserves a bigger place in the public mind that it has now. It is not there only to support bones, it also supports the body's systems. And once people understand that, they begin to ask better questions. Not only do I need calcium, but also what is calcium actually doing in the body? That is a far better question because it leads to a far better understanding. So let me bring everything together in one message. And this is the third point. When you understand calcium better, you understand more about how your body actually works. If you think calcium is only about bones, your picture is too small. Calcium also has a role in signaling movement, nerve activity, heart rhythm, and cellular response. In other words, it helps the body carry out the quiet internal work that keeps daily life moving. That is why this topic matters. Not because calcium is trendy, not because it sounds technical, but because it is part of the real body function. The public should know that. So here is the line I want you to remember. Calcium is not only about what the body builds, it is also about how the body works. That is the message. It is simple, true, and easy to remember. And once you understand it, I think you will never hear the word calcium in the same way again. Now, I want to hear from you. Before this video, did you think calcium was only about bones? Or did you already know it also plays a role in body signals? Write it in the comments. I read all the comments and I answer. And I want to know which part of this surprised you most. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video.